Hi, welcome to this video on factorizing quadratics, and it's the second lesson on this. Let's see what we can remember from the first lesson. This is a starter. What I want you to do is I want you to factorize this algebraic expression x squared plus 7x plus 6. Okay, it needs to be put into two brackets, and the same with x squared minus 9x plus 14. Okay. I want you to pause the video and have a go at those questions, and when you're ready, press play. Pause the video now, please. Okay, welcome back then. All right. So a reminder from last lesson then that if we put an x at the front of both brackets and we times those two terms together, they make the x squared part of the expression. Okay, now what we want are two numbers in the brackets, one in each bracket. Now we multiply them together, and we need to multiply them together to make 6. So there's two ways of doing that. We can either multiply 1 times 6, or we can multiply 2 times 3. Okay, now if we do 1 times 6 and then we add those two numbers together, look, 1 adds 6, those two factors add to make 7. If we add 2 and 3 together, they only add to make 5. Now, we need to make 7x, so we need this 7 here. So in my brackets, I need the 1 and the 6, and they're both positive numbers to make 7. Okay, so they both need to be pluses, look. Okay, so that then makes the plus 7x, and 1 times 6 makes you 6. Okay, so that's how to factorize the first one. If you put in the brackets the other way, so you put the x plus 6 in the first bracket and then the x plus 1, that is perfectly fine as well, exactly the same thing. Okay, number 2 then. So we again need an x at the front of both brackets, so when we times them we make our x squared term. Now then, this time we need to make 14 from the two numbers. Okay, so I can do 1 times 14, or I can do 2 times 7. Okay. Now, in this case, if I add these together, look, 1 add 14 will make 15, and 2 add 7 makes 9. But I know I don't want to make 9 or 14, I want to make minus 9. So if we remember that this constant term at the end, the plus 14, when we multiply two numbers together, we can only make a positive when we multiply the two positive numbers together or two negative numbers together. So if I use the fact that I know 2 times 7 is 14 and 2 add 7 is 9, and I multiply together minus 2 with minus 7, then those two minuses multiply to become a positive, that's positive 14. And if I do minus 2 add minus 7, then that's the same as minus 2 take away 7, which gives me minus 9. So that's what I want, is minus 9. So in here, I need minus 2 and minus 7. So if we've got a positive constant term here at the end, so they're positive, then the signs in the bracket are going to be the same. So they'll either be two positive signs or there'll be two negative signs. Okay. We're going to have a look today at factorizing quadratic expressions where that constant term at the end of the expression is negative. So let's have a look at some information first. So this is just a reminder that that's a positive constant term at the end. So in the brackets, we will have two signs the same, and this is also positive. So we'll end up with two positives. And in this case, it's plus 1 and plus 4, because 1 times 4 makes 4, 1 plus 4 makes 5. In this case here, it's positive. Okay, so that means the signs in the bracket is going to be the same. And this time that's negative. That means I need to have two negatives in the brackets here. Okay, so what do I need this time? Well, I need 2 and 4, because I know minus 2 times minus 4 makes positive 8, and I know minus 2 and minus 4 together makes minus 6. So that's what we've covered so far. But let's have a look at a case where this constant term here is a negative. Okay, so I'm going to put x in the front of both my brackets here, because I'm being asked to factorize this expression. Now, I know to make minus 5, I either do 5 times minus 1, or I do minus 5 times positive 1. Okay, because to make a negative product, we need one of the numbers to be negative and one of them to be positive. And the only numbers that multiply to make 5 together are 1 and 5. Now, I have a look at this here now, and I then add these together. So 5 add minus 1 is the same as 5 take away 1, which is positive 4. And if I do minus 5 add 1, well, if I start at minus 5 and add 1 back on, I get minus 4. Now that's what I do need, look, because my middle term here is negative 4. So I want this one here. So I want this pair of values here. So in my brackets here, look, I put my minus 5 and my positive 1. So in my brackets, I've got x minus 5 and x plus 1. Okay, so that's your first example. If you need to, pause the video and make a note of it, please. Okay, example 2 then. On this one again, you can see we're being asked to factorize this expression, and x times x will give me that x squared term. That's covered. Okay, we need to focus on multiplying two numbers together to make minus 15. So a little bit more options this time. So remember, one's got to be positive and one's got to be negative. So I could do 1 times minus 15, or I can do minus 1 times positive 15, or I could do 3 times minus 5, or I could do minus 3 times 5. Okay, one of them's got to be positive and one's got to be negative. And now I'm looking now with one of those pairs to make minus 2. Well, if I do 1 add minus 15, that's the same as saying 1 take away 15, which gives me minus 14, so I don't want that one. And if I do minus 1 add 15 from my two pairs, then I get positive 14. So I definitely don't want anything to do with 14. Okay, now this one here, and then I would be doing 3 add minus 5. So that's the same as 3 take away 5, which is minus 2. Well, that's the one I do want. Look, yeah, I want to make minus 2. So in my brackets, look, I need a positive 3. So if I put that in the first one, and I need a negative 5. So if I put that one in there, all that's left for me to do is put a plus in the first bracket to finish my factorizing. So this one factorizes to x plus 3 times x minus 5. Okay, final example then. All right. We're asked to factorize this expression here. Okay, so again, I know I need an x at the front of both brackets so that when I turn them together, I make my x squared. Now, it's a negative constant term, so I know I need one positive number in here and one negative number. But 24 has got so many factors, so I could choose 1 and 24. I could choose 2 with 12, and I could choose 3 with 8, and I could choose 4 with 6. 4 times 6, 3 times 8, 2 times 12, they all make 24. But we are trying to find ones with two different signs. So really, a shorter cut here is to try and see whether the two factors have got a difference of 2. That's what we want here, is a difference of 2. So are these different by 2? No. Is 2 and 12 different by 2? No. Is 3 and 8 different by 2? No. But are 4 and 6 different by 2? Well, yes. There's only 2 spaces between these numbers. There's a gap of 2. So we want 4 and 6. So we either want minus 4 plus 6, or we want positive 4 with minus 6. So there's the two choices we've got. So minus 4 plus 6, well, that takes me to positive 2. If I start with 4 and I add minus 6, that means I'm doing 4 take away 6, which is minus 2. And which one do we want? We want the positive 2. So I want this one here. In my bracket, I need minus 4 and plus 6. Okay, so minus 4 plus 6. And again, that's correct factorizing for this question. All right, okay. Hope you've made a note of those. All right, because I'm going to give you some questions now for the main task. All right, so here's your main task. There's plenty of practice going on in here. What I would like you to do is pause your video to have a go at the main task. Spend about 15 to 20 minutes on it having a go. And when you're ready to check over your answers, press play. Okay, so press pause now for me, please. Okay, welcome back then. All right, so here are the answers to each of those questions on the main task here. Remember that if you wrote the answers the alternative way around, so if you wrote the brackets in the other order, it's still a correct answer. Okay, so I'm not going to do that for each question. But here's your solutions here. Okay, so please mark and assess your work and correct anything that you're not sure about and have a look at why it's the correct answer. Okay, the final thing for today then is a quick checking question, and I want to have a look at this style of question here. I want us to factorize this expression here, x squared minus 25. Now you'll notice that this is different to the other questions. So I may choose to write this, for example, as this instead. But we don't write 0x because, as we can see, there's no x term in the middle. So if there's no x term, we could write plus 0x, for example, but we wouldn't normally write it, which we haven't in the question. What I want you to do now is pause the video and have a go to see if you factorize that expression. Okay, then, let's see how you got on. So on this one here, I know that that's negative. Negative 25 means I've got to multiply two numbers together that have a different sign. So I can either do 1 times minus 25, because that makes minus 25, or I can do minus 1 times positive 25, and again, that makes minus 25. But over here, look, if we add those two together, 1 add minus 25 will give me minus 24, and minus 1 add 25 will give me positive 24. Now, I haven't got 24x or minus 24x in the middle here. I've got no x's. So I need to consider now my square number. So 5 times minus 5 is minus 25. The other way of writing it is minus 5 times 5. But is that any different? Because we've got the same numbers. We've still got minus 5 times 5. And if we add 5 and minus 5 together, we see it makes 0, which is what we want. So in this case, I need two brackets. I need an x at the front of both brackets. So when I multiply them, I get my x squared. Then in the bracket, I'm going to be putting plus 5 and minus 5. Okay. So this is what we call a square number. All right. So we need to be looking out for those types of terms. And that's a square because that's x squared. All right. X times x. So we need to be looking out for those types of problems to factorize these. So if I just say to you very quickly, factorize x squared minus 36. What squared is 36? Hopefully you'll say that's 6 squared. So in the brackets, you'll know that it'll be x plus 6, x minus 6. Okay, hope that makes sense. And thank you for listening to this video today, and stay safe.